Hello friends, I am in total hibernation mode right now. Combination of the weather, that nasty cold everyone got just after Christmas that knocked the stuffing right out of me, and the fact that my sewing room is currently getting some reno work done so I can't do any big projects, has left me wanting to be a couch potato hermit hobbit rather than do anything actually creative and productive. But warm weather will come again, and with warm weather comes Ren fairs. And what better time to level up an outfit kit than when you're stuck inside not wanting to go anywhere? I've got some pretty cool options for Ren Fair outfits, but the one thing I've found lacking in my own kit is carrying devices. Satchels, pouches, places to put my miscellaneous stuff. I've tried using my patchwork pocket, I've tried using a basket, and those are decent, they work okay, but I've really wanted some other wearable options for a while. So today I'm going to make two fantasy style pouches, perfect for wearing on a belt and making things like currency, snacks, small purchases, and trading trinkets all easily accessible. I'm starting with Butterick pattern B5371, and I'm going to make one of each of the pouches in this pattern. One with a more earthy ranger type feel, and the other with a slightly more sophisticated feel. This is also a great stash busting project as it doesn't require a lot of fabric. For this first one, I'm using remnants from a green suede style curtain as the outer fabric, and a couple small scraps from the lining of my recent cloak video as the lining of this pouch. To start off, I took some braided cord and fastened it to the front edge, first by basting and then with a little patch of matching fabric. This is the first part of the closure for once the bag is finished. Then I pinned the gusset in place and stitched all the way around, and did the same for the lining. Once the front edge was sewn down, I attached the back piece to the gusset and stitched it down the same way. It was a little finicky around the curves, but not too bad. I folded a pair of loops and top stitched them, then they got attached to the back of the pouch on the right side of the fabric, with the raw ends of the loops meeting the raw edge of the fabric. The top flap gets bound with matching fabric and stitched down by machine on the top side of the fabric and finished by hand on the underside. Then the top flap gets joined to the body of the pouch, sandwiching the loops to hide the raw edges. I deviated from the pattern instructions when it came to inserting the lining, as I found them a little unclear. Plus, I was in the mood for a bit of hand sewing, so I simply put the lining inside the bag, wrong sides matching, folded the raw edges inside, and felled the two edges together. I had one last silver button in my stash from my Edwardian cape video, so I was happy to finally give it a good home. I stitched it on firmly, and the first adventurer pouch is done. For the second pouch, I used an offcut from a bit of thrifted wool crepe for the outside, and the wrong side of a suede satin curtain for the lining. I decided to be a little extra for this one, so I bound the edge of the top flap with the lining fabric. This time I did the whole binding by hand. I wanted a little bit of sparkle on this one, so I grabbed this awesome metal braid chain that I bought on clearance from my local bead store for some trim. I attached it with whip stitches using a matching silk thread, and it gives a great little pop without affecting the drape of the pouch. This pouch has a large central loop, which was really easy to pin and stitch together. Then the front and back edges get joined together, both for the outer fabric and lining. The loop gets attached to the back in the same way as the first pouch. Then the top flap gets added, and because I didn't want to risk breaking a machine needle on the metal braid, I stitched it down by hand. Once again, I disregarded the instructions for lining and did my own thing. Stuff the lining in, fold in the raw edges, whip stitch in place. The large loop makes it easy for this pouch to fit on a belt, but it also gives you instructions for a shoulder strap, and having a backup carrying option is always great. But if it's on a belt, you don't want the shoulder strap dangling and catching on stuff. So I decided to make mine detachable. I went super simple with a toggle clasp from a bead store, tying the bar onto each end of my ribbon strap, and sewing the rings onto the lining of the bag. We're almost done with this pouch too. The last big thing is to add the eyelets to make it a drawstring closure. The instructions actually call for grommets, but the only grommets I currently own are banished to a dark corner of my sewing room because they've been popping out of the last couple projects, and I didn't feel like buying more right now. So, hand-sewn eyelets it is. And then we add more ribbon to make the drawstring, and do a little bit of top stitching to help the flap sit nicely and stay closed. And there we go. 2 adventurer pouches ready for the Ren Fair. I have to say, after my last 3 projects taking literal months to finish, it was a fun change to make a couple of projects that could be whipped up in a weekend. I really like how they turned out. Very practical, but not too big, and I think they'll get a lot of use at upcoming Ren Fairs. They have made me want to try making a couple of larger, more properly satchel type of bags, but that will be another project for another time. So if you want to give this a try, the pattern again is Butterick B5371, which has some other awesome looking fantasy accessories as well. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button, and if you want to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing and check out the video here. If you'd like to support the channel, I do have a Ko-fi page, and I will see you all soon with more geekery meets history sewing adventures.